One of these days I'll figure out how to do a better intro because I think my intros vary from like video to video because I haven't quite figured it out yet. So once I figure it out, smooth sailing from there. If you guys have any tips or ideas, shoot them my way. Anyway, so left off with me finally finding my seats. So the one thing that my seats didn't list when I was like buying them online was that they were next to this like I don't know why it was there, but they were next to this like glass wall. So like I could look obviously because it was glass, I could see through it, but like I was like trapped into the area that I was in. I don't know why it was there. Out on the other side of the glass were some steps. I don't know who they were trying to keep my section from. I honestly don't know. But I ended up, dealing with it. I sat down because the pole, I was like to about 11 o'clock was kind of in my way, so I had to like slide from time to time to see what was going on. But all in all, anyway, so the pregame festivities kicked off with a lot of chanting and a lot of singing because, like I said, the ultras were revved up, ready to go. This is an 8:45. It's an 8:45 kickoff. Keep that in mind. So it's 8:45 kickoff, and then you have all this going on. While all this is going on, the Inter Milan Ultras are, as you can see, you're seeing the full picture, but they're unfurling this banner which says something in Italian. Now, at the time, I didn't know what it said. I didn't even know what it related to. I didn't even recognize the character. So I just kind of like looked at it, smiled, nodded my head, continued on with my night. Turns out, after a quick Google search, because those things exist on the internet that'll tell you exactly what it was that you want to see. The first banner that came out ended up saying, here's what it said in Italian.
Tutto è perfettamente chiaro, ragazzo mio. Tu sei esaurito e non vi è una cura, il riposo nella terra della spensieratezza, dove ogni dì è un dì di festa. Vieni, alla corriera parte alle 20,40.
So with that said, it ends up translating into English as, everything is perfectly clear. My boy, you are exhausted, and there is no cure. Rest in the land of carefree, where every day is a party. Come, the bus leaves at 2040. The bus leaves at 2040. Kickoff was at 2045. For those of you who don't know military time, it's basically saying the bus comes at 8:45 or 8:40, and kickoff is at 8:45. They're just telling Juventus just go ahead and go home now. Which made this so much more hilarious after I looked it all up. Because they're out here dropping on these banners and everything, like trash talking the team as they're taking the field, like for warm-ups and everything. And it's just one of those things where The ultras are lit, man. They're so wild. They're so crazy. They're so into it. Everything is so choreographed. Um, I think even they're like called like Curva Nord or something like that. Anyway, um, so with that said, so that one got dropped, and then I was looking at a bunch of pictures of that. I They started with the anthems and everything, and the anthems, they're just as it's just one of those things where I've accepted, like, they're just, you know, in the States the national anthem plays before kickoff and everything, or, you know, jump ball or first pitch or anything like that, and, like, you know, people are like standing still, hand over heart, being quiet, all that. That is not the case here. People are loud, people are wild, people are going crazy. They're chanting and singing songs and singing along with all their heart. Like, they are there. They're there to get into it, and they're there for their team. As the next video showed, they started doing the player introductions, and when they did the player introductions, it was one of those things where I don't know anyone's name off the top of my head for Inter Milan, because they only did the Inter Milan. It's like the 85% of the stadium that was Inter Milan was chanting. So what would happen was, I'll use my name for an example. So dude's name, you know, say my name flashes on the screen, and like my you know, here I am, I'll pop up on the screen, and I'm like smiling and everything, and then it would like display the number, and the announcer would be like, number 12, Travis, and then all the fans would be like, Fushi! And then after that, it would be like, number 10, Aaron Fushi! Or it'd be like, you know, who else can I use here? Another number that I know, like number 52, Ryan Garcia. They're just like chanting the last names forever and just loud. It was just such an awesome thing. It's one of those things where, like, I love when the fans do that. And then they did this toilet paper thing. I'm not really sure what that was about. I didn't look that up yet, because I didn't think... if I find out anything, I'll let you know. But they just started taking rolls of toilet paper and just throwing it down to the row below them. So it was like raining toilet paper. I don't know what that's about, but it looked like a good time. Wish I had a roll of toilet paper in my hands, like a 3-1-2. Been a lot of fun, but I know better for next time. Then they came out with their second choreographed banner. And after looking it up, the choreograph apparently had been prepared for months for just this game. And it was shown just before the start of it, which portrays Pinocchio in a Juventus jersey. And in this, there are 3 sayings, I believe. One in which the donkey is saying, "I've never been in Serie B," meaning it's making fun of, I guess, the fact that like Juventus claims that they've never been in Serie B. And then there's another banner on there that says "Seven Finali Vinte" or Venite, and it basically translates to 7 finals won. But what it is that they're like playing off of the fact that the Juventus Pinocchio basically is a reference to the championships that apparently that Juventus still considers and still claims to this day, even though the Italian football the Italian Football Game Federation. Yeah, the Italian Football Game Federation basically stripped them of those titles, but like Juventus still claims them. And then above the entire thing, they had this like foam little saying in the stands above it all that basically says, or translate to, the country of toys. So it was kind of one of those things where I was just like, and after I figured it all out, I was like, they really went all in for this choreograph, man. Like they are, because it took up. Oh man, where's the? It took up the whole. I'll just pick a direction. It took up the whole like west side of the stadium, like behind the goal. I mean, it was, and as you can see in the picture, like it was a huge banner. But after that, it was more of, and I'll just kind of let things play. Like I said, they had this one chant, which I'll show right now. That's one chant where they would do it, and I kept like getting the very end of it because I never realized it was happening until like, because I was like so shocked by it. But like they would like the entire stadium would just stand up and like jump around and sing songs and whatnot, and like I could feel the stadium shaking from underneath me. The stadium was literally rocking. And then I'd catch like the last 10 seconds of the video or the chant and everything, and realize like to pull my phone out and like try to get a video of it all. They ended up lighting a flare off like at some point in the stadium, and then like threw it down towards the field. I don't know what that was about. I haven't figured out the flare obsession with soccer hooligans. Because like it seems like every game I go to, someone lights a flare and like throws it down near the field. So I don't know what the flare obsession is. That's enough. So the scoring was started in the 13th minute when Douglas Costa ended up scoring a goal. And what was confusing with not knowing Italian or anything and not trying to stay on my phone, other than taking pictures and videos of everything. Is that I didn't. So there was a second goal right after, and so he scored the first one in the 13th minute. I want to say in the 16th or 17th minute they scored another one, and I thought they ended up going into half at 2-0. I was like, yeah, Juventus is gonna walk away with this one. Even along the process too, Inter Milan one of their players ended up taking a red card in the 18th minute. So it's kind of one of those things where I was like, Juventus is first in their conference division. They're first in their division, and now you're a man down against Juventus, and they just scored 2 goals. It's 2-0 at halftime. Halftime happened. I glanced up. It was still 1-0. Actually, I didn't realize it was 1-0 until halftime's at 45 minutes. I didn't realize that the second goal that they scored didn't count until the 52nd minute when Inter Milan finally scored. And when they finally scored their first goal, the crowd reaction was this. Crazy, right? Promise it was so much more crazier in person. There's a whole lot of still singing and everything as the game went on. Because like I said, they just chant and sing and cheer and just like they get into it for the entire 90 minutes. Actually, it was probably more like 120 minutes. Because they were singing like at least 30 minutes before kickoff. Like, as a, I don't want to say student section because they're not students. But as a hooligan section, they ended up cheering well before the game even started, along with our banner. Both teams. And then towards the end of the game, I ended up getting like a panoramic video of like the whole stadium because I didn't get one with like the glass and everything, so it was kind of weird. I don't want to get in anybody's way before the game even started. And I got a panoramic video. But the issue with that being is that a lot of the stuff that I got towards the end of the game, I had to do it with the quickness because as soon as the game was over, it was not even 5 minutes. And security started at the top and started working their way down and was like kicking people out. They're like, you got to go. Let's go. Hurried along. I got places to be. The game ended 5 minutes ago. Why are you still up at my stadium? But probably the craziest part of the entire thing was that, like I said, so Inter Milan tied it up in the 52nd minute. And in the 65th minute, they scored off a Juventus own goal. So there you go right there. They're down to 10 men. They're up 2-1 against Juventus. Juventus is, I believe at this time, they were only a point up in the standings on Naples. And, Naples leading up to that weekend had been hot. So all of a sudden it looks like Juventus is, in danger of like losing their lead in the standings and could very well, lose their division. And then in the 85th minute, and I'm not even sure what caused this, but in the 85th minute, I glance over, and again, this piece of glass is like sitting next to me with the stairs near it. People are walking down the steps, and a matter of fact, you know who it was? It was a bunch of Juventus fans. They were walking down the steps in the 85th minute. There are, for those of you who don't know, 5 minutes left from this point. I understand you don't want to hang around, I guess, and see your team maybe go to a draw. Because, even as American, I don't really like draws. Someone's got to win, someone's got to lose. But I understand it's a different world over here. It is what it is. 5 minutes left. And this is exactly why I despise leaving games early. Unless it's like a clear beatdown. In which nothing's going to... If it's like 5 minutes left... say it's a football game. 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter and it's like 42-7. Like, we can go. But they ended up... Again, so started walking down in the 85th minute. In the 87th minute, Juventus scored on an own goal themselves, and all of a sudden it's 2-2. And I was like, all right, well, there's 3 minutes left plus any extra time that the referee puts on the clock. Let's just see what happens. And then the next thing you know, there ended up being a free kick. Juventus got a free kick. And I remember sitting there thinking to myself, I was like looking down the field, and I was like, if Dybala ends up like knocking this in, like he scores on this free kick, like this place is gonna go berserk. Like he is gonna be borderline, legend in Juventus, or I guess Turin, if he ends up scoring on this. And then I didn't even have my phone out. It was one of those like gut things where I was just like, yo, if he like what he might do this. Like what if he does it? Like this guy's really, he's good. And then the next thing you know, I'll just let the video go from here.
Dybala, il traversone in mezzo, attenzione, colpo di testa alla rete, Higuain, la Juventus è in vantaggio, Gonzalo Higuain, 3-2, Higuain, colpo di testa vincente al minuto numero 89, 3-2 per la Juventus.
The corner of the stadium that he ran to, I was in the 200 level corner, in that corner that he ran to. And it was one of those things where like I had my Bart Starr jersey on, but like when the goal went in, like I had no control over my body. It was one of those things where like I got pulled up out of my seat and was just like, no, what just happened? I'm like looking around for like someone to like hug or talk to or like talk about it, and I was just like, no one's here, and everyone probably doesn't speak English, and like all these Inter Milan fans are to my right, and they're now depressed because their team just 4 minutes ago had a 1-goal lead, and then here we are a minute from extra time starting, and all of a sudden they're down a goal. And it was one of those. It's one of those games where, even with it not being my team, it was one of those games where like it's probably a top 5, borderline top 3 game that I've ever been to. Doesn't matter the sport. Does not matter the sport. That game was so much fun. That was like when, I'm telling you, the hooligans are my people, man. And even now, I'm like, oh, man, like soccer's done for the year. Like they're gonna kick off back in like August, like late August, about time football season kicks off in America. And it was like the craziest thing. It was a game of so much fun to be at. It was loud. It was intense. It was dramatic. There was a late goal which like set the entire stadium off one way or the other. But then after that, like I said, so after that, all that happened and people were like filing out and everything, I ended up heading out. I got down and went to the bus stop. My phone's on 9% at this time. I went to the bus stop, waiting for the bus. The bus that never came. I guess during games, the buses don't use that route or anything. So I pull up on the map to find out where I need to go. After I stood around and waited for like 30 minutes and realized that my car is 2.5 to 3 miles, something like that. It was a 30-minute walk that I had to make all the way back to the car because the bus wasn't coming and I didn't know where the actual buses were running. True story. As I'm also standing there too in my Bart Starr jersey, a Juventus fan walked by. No, sorry, it wasn't a Juventus fan. It was an Inter Milan fan. He's like talking to his friends and everything. They're talking in Italian and what. And I wasn't paying any attention to him. And like I ended up like, I made eye contact with him, and like I saw his mouth start to open, and I was like, oh god, like what's he gonna say? Like I don't know Italian, man. Just You know, what was he going to say? He looks at me dead in my optic stems and says, Aaron Rodgers? And I was like, yes! Go, Pack, go! Like, yes! I was like, but, you know, he wasn't as nearly as excited about it as I was. But, so after that, I started on my 30-minute walk, which went from a leisurely pace to a faster pace the more my phone died. And by the time I got back to the parking deck, my phone was on 1%. Then, it was one of those parking deck situations, too, where, like, again, you had to go to the guy you turn your keys over to, had to go get him, and have him go get the keys, or go get your car for you, along with all the other people who decided to park there, too. Nothing was in orderly fashion. Everyone's breaking a line in front of each other, thinking they're more important than the next person, trying to get out there with the quickness. Dude finally walks me down the ramp and, like, points in the direction where my car was. I walk over there, and it wasn't even one of those, like, secure things either. They left the keys to the car, like, on the hood. I was like, what kind of place is this? So, after that, I had to hop in the car, and Kim had called at some point during that walk, and I hooked my phone up to the charger, and I called her back really quick. And that guy, I guess, thought that I was, you know, since they leave all the keys on the hoods down there, I guess he thought I was going to steal something, because he walked down and he was just like, he's like, you got to go. He's like, whatever the Italian was, he was just like pointing at the exit and like yelling at me for like sitting still. And I was like, all right, Kim. I was like, I need my GPS. I got to go. Like, this guy's yelling at me because I'm sitting here. So I made the trip back home. I got home at like 2 a.m. So all in all, it was a 12-hour trip. Wasn't that bad. Wasn't that bad of a drive either. It was actually, Autostrada was really open, and the speed limit on the Autostrada is, when in clear conditions, is 130 kilometers per hour, which is like 80 miles an hour. When it's raining, it drops down like 110. But anyway, that's the story about the trip that I had to Milan. I can't wait to go back, whether it be for another Inter Milan game, whether it be to tour Milan more, because there's a lot more to do there. Now, I didn't even mention in the first video about the Prada, the Louis Vuitton, or the Gucci store. But there's just so much to do around there. Not to mention, I think at some point we're going to head back up there, because the Formula One cars are going to be in, they're going to be northeast of Milan. So it might be something, you know, we end up maybe making a trip back to Milan later this year. You know, go see a practice or something, since Aaron enjoys his cars. But who knows? We'll see. If we do go out to Milan, like I said, or any other trips we take, I'll definitely end up taking more videos. And at some point, I hope to take a bunch of pictures and videos and be able to talk more about it too once we take the trips with, you know, Kim and the kids, and then me and Kim can, you know, talk about these things, so I can have someone else to talk to, and in case I forget something or like get out of order, you know, I have somebody to back me up or straighten me out. But like I said, I had a whole lot of fun, and I was so glad I made that trip. I know it wasn't as exciting or as long as the Rome trip was, but I still really enjoyed it, and it's one of those things where, like I said, easily like a top 5 game I've ever been to. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I look forward to next season kicking off. Maybe go to Turin and go see a Juventus home game this time instead of seeing them as the away team. But anyway, I'm going to go now. Keep eating my cheese. Maybe have another beer too. And I will see you guys soon to tell you all about my 4-day Rome adventure. Ciao.